Oh, it's BJ coming to you. Very basic Bible. We're going to talk about proverbial teaching. Proverbs. The Bible teaches in Proverbs. Okay, let's go look at some of them. Bible has lots of poetry. Prophets, they speak in poetry. The Psalms, a lot of poetry. They sing songs and poetry, lots of poetry. Okay, their law, they tell you what to do, what not to do. You know, lots of rules and regulations. There's history, historical narrative, where they just tell you the story. They just tell you the history. There's teaching, where they straightforward teach you. No poetry, not many metaphors and such. They just try to teach you straightforwardly. But here, Proverbs is kind of like teaching and poetry mixed together. Proverbial teaching. You look at what's in the world and you draw general principles from it. And usually the Proverbs, like I said, are said in a poetical way. So we're going to take my Atari shirt here and share screen. There. Let's look at some Proverbs. First, Proverbs chapter 1. What do Proverbs do for us? Let's see. Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. Let's read the ESV. To know wisdom and instruction, to understand words of insight. Okay, so Proverbs, to know wisdom and instruction, to understand words of insight, to receive instruction, wise dealing, in righteousness, justice, and equity. So not just to be wise, but to be righteous, to be just. Look at this, integrity in the NASB. Okay. To give common sense or prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the youth. All right, let's go look at the NLT. These are now this is very thought for thought. These are the Proverbs of Solomon, David's son, king of Israel. Their purpose, the Proverbs, is to teach people wisdom and discipline, to help them understand the insights of the wise. Their purpose is to teach people to live in disciplined, successful lives, to help them to do what is fair, just, and right. These Proverbs will gain insight to the simple and knowledge and discretion to the young. Okay, so you can see what the Proverbs are for. That's why they often call this wisdom literature, all about being wise. Let's go look at some examples of some Proverbs. Chapter 15. Okay. All right, ESV. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Okay, harsh answer turns away wrath. Harsh word stirs up anger. A soft answer turns away wrath. All right. So they're comparing and contrasting. This Proverb's talking about anger. It makes you think of anger. So, a soft answer turns away. That's good. That's good. So I should speak softly. Maybe it's saying something negative about wrath. Maybe not. God's wrathful, but if it's not always bad. A harsh word stirs up anger. Anger can be bad. Anger can spread like a fire. You don't want to be harsh. Don't give harsh words, give soft words. Is it always that way? I'm not sure. Okay. What was I just doing? I just started pontificating, teaching. I just started kind of taking this proverb here and I started talking about it. I started thinking over it. When you do it in your mind, you can meditate on it. Some people say take a proverb and chew on it, over and over again. Chew on it. You have to chew some things. Some kid, they just swallow stuff whole. No, take a long time, Think about it. That's kind of what I was doing here with you, Now remember, Proverbs aren't promises. They're Proverbs. They're wise sayings. So a soft answer doesn't always turn away wrath. It's a general principle. Let's look at some down here. The lips of the wise spread knowledge. Seems like common sense. Not so the hearts of fools. Okay, the lips of the wise spread knowledge means I talk, right? That's probably what it is. It's probably not talking about when I kiss people. It's probably talking about when I talk. Not so the hearts. Why did they change to hearts? I'm not sure. If I were to guess, I would say it's because everything comes from inside of you. Everything comes from your heart. So the lips of the knowledge for wise, but even the heart, even the inside of a fool, no knowledge. So in other words, don't be a fool. So see, I did it again. We can take these Proverbs and we can discuss them. We can think over them. Okay. Let's go to Proverbs 30, because sometimes the Proverbs look at what's in the world and then they kind of go off of that. So these are Proverbs from a guy named Agur. The man declares, I am weary, O God, I am weary, O God, I'm worn out. Oh, wait. The man declares to Ithiel, over here, CSB, words of Agur, the man's oration to Ithiel and Upal. NLT, I'm weary. The scholars are of a divided opinion on this, but that's not a proverb. That's just telling us who's talking. Let's go down. What are some things that this guy named Agur said? Okay. Just a little further. I'm sorry. We're almost there. I promise. There are 4 things which are little on the earth, but they are exceedingly wise. Okay, 4 things on the ESV, smaller, but they're exceedingly wise. Okay, they're wise. 4 things on the earth, but they're wise. The ants are not a strong people, yet they provide their food in the summer. Even though they're not strong, they're wise about providing the food in their summer. So, hey, you can provide food while in the summer, I guess. You can store up food for you. The rock badgers are not a mighty people, yet they make their homes in cliffs. So they're not mighty, but they're able to be at home in a cliff. The locusts have no king, yet they still all march in rank. So, hey, we can cooperate even if we don't have a leader. Be like the locust. The lizard you can take in your hands. It's so small, yet it is in king's palaces. Even I can't get into a king's palace. I try and go into the White House. I get arrested, get tackled, you know. So, hey, there goes my clock. Yeah, you can hear. So, you know, he looks at nature and then he says what happens in life, okay? Who else taught proverbially? So these are the Proverbs. Let's see. Let's go to Bible Gateway. I'm going to type in Lily. I'm going to type in lilies. Luke 12:27. Full chapter, 12:27. Now you're like, BJ, what's about lilies? What are you talking about lilies? If you don't know the Bible. Okay, let's see some examples of Jesus teaching proverbially. And Jesus said to his disciples, for this reason, I tell you, don't worry about your life or as to what you are to eat, nor for your body as to what you are to wear. For life is more than food and the body is more than clothing. Okay, don't worry about it, guys. Now here's the proverbial teaching. Consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap. They have no storeroom nor barn, and yet God feeds them. The locusts have no king, yet they all advance in ranks. The rock badgers are feeble, yet they. So he's looking at nature and he's trying to learn from it. Jesus is looking at nature and he's learning from it, but Jesus doesn't leave it alone. He gives us an answer. How much more valuable are you than birds? Right? Yeah. Do not worry. How much more valuable are you than birds? And which of you by worrying can add a day to his lifespan? Therefore, if you cannot even do a very little thing, I like worry, why do you worry about the other things? Look, the ravens don't worry about it, yet God feeds them. Okay? You're more valuable than ravens. So maybe he's saying that God will feed us. Okay. Consider the lilies. There's our word. How they grow. They neither labor nor spin, but I tell you, not even King Solomon in all his glory clothes himself like one of these. Lilies are prettier than King Solomon, in other words. Now, if God so clothes the grass of the field in great splendor, greater than the greatest king of Israel, if God so clothes the grass in the field, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, how much more will he clothe you? Right? Jesus is trying to get us to think proverbially about God. God cares about ravens to give them food. Come on. And hey, God clothes lilies super pretty, but lilies don't matter. Is he going to give you clothes? You have little faith. Do not seek what you are to eat and what you are to drink. don't keep worrying. Don't worry about it, okay? I'm going to keep reading just to get to the end of the teaching. For all these things, the food and drink and clothing, all these things are what the nations of the world eagerly seek. And your Father knows that you need these things. But seek the Father's kingdom, and these things will be provided to you. Do not be afraid, little flock, because your Father has chosen to give you the kingdom. Yes. Have faith. God will provide. Okay. I'm going to look up an example of a very specific proverb. And it's teaching in a very specific way. The proverb is, some of the proverbs, as you notice, go. One more thing. Okay. Here it is. Let not your heart envy with sinners, but continue. Be not among the drunkards. I went to the wrong chapter, guys. I'm sorry. We'll go back to chapter 15 that we were on. Some chapters tell you exact things of what to do. Okay. The way of the wicked is abomination to the Lord, but he who loves him follows righteousness. Okay, good. We know that's exactly what you need to do. A scoffer does not love one who corrects him, nor will he go to the wise. Okay, now we're going to go. So it's telling you pretty direct. We can chew on them, but sometimes you can just use them directly. Watch this. It works. 2 Peter 2:22. Okay. It has happened to them according to the true proverb. A dog returns to its own vomit, and a sow, after washing in the mire, returns to wallowing in the mire. True. Okay. I'm going to do something. Watch this. Okay. Proverbs 26:11. Like a dog returns to its vomit, so is a fool who repeats his foolishness. Okay. And what did we have in 2 Peter? Control F. I'm going to type in Peter. Look at that, Peter. It has happened to them according to the true proverb, a dog returns to its own vomit. So we go up. I'm going to type in dog. Control F for dog, a dog return. Okay. Proverbs 26:11. Like a dog that returns to its vomit, so as a fool repeats his foolishness. Peter uses this proverb. It has happened to them. Whoever they are, it has happened to them. They're obviously repeating their foolishness. A dog returns to its own vomit. So is a fool who repeats his foolishness. 2 Peter. Whoever they are, Peter's saying they're repeating foolishness. So he's using the proverb. Pretty cool, huh? What about some more wisdom like? I'm going to type in Ephesians. Now, Ephesians, a lot of theology, then some teaching. Let's see what it says. The Christian's walk. So I say to you, and affirm in the Lord, that you are no longer to walk just as the Gentiles also walk. Okay, the Proverbs are telling us, to walk in a good way. The Gentiles walk in the futility of their minds, being darkened in their understanding, excluded from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them, because of the hardness of their heart. So this is kind of the opposite of Proverbs 1, right? Remember, Proverbs 1 said Proverbs are good for to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive instruction and wisdom, justice, judgment, equity, to give prudence to the simple. Okay. There are other places in the Proverbs. Oh, look at this. If they say, my son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, let us lie and wait for blood, let us ambush an innocent without reason. Yikes. Let Sheol, let us swallow them alive. We shall find good. Story, my son, do not walk in the way with them. Hold back your foot from their paths, for their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed blood. For in vain is the net. Okay. Now you firm in the Lord, you are no longer walking as the Gentiles. also walk in the futility of their minds, as the Gentiles walk in the futility of their minds. They are darkened by their understanding, excluded from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them. So see, Paul is kind of saying proverbial-ish type stuff, kind of, so you can see, you got Second Peter, who Peter's like, here's an exact proverb. You got Paul here, he's more wisdom-like. Okay. Ridding yourself of falsehood, speak truth, each one of you. Okay. Be angry, yet do not sin. Do not let the sun go down in your anger. Okay. Do not give the devil an opportunity. Okay. The one who steals must no longer steal, but rather he must labor, producing with his own hands what is good. Okay, that sounds like a proverb. So that he will have something to share with the one who has need. Okay. Let no unwholesome word come out of your mouth, but if there is any good word for education according to the need of the moment, say that. It will give grace to the. So he's kind of, so if you do this and you do that, but he talks more about it. Some of that stuff I said might have just been confusing. I said it quickly, but you could see the this, and so this, and that. Kind of proverbial. When you understand that, it kind of maybe makes it easier to learn. I hope so. Stop, share. Okay, guys, that's it for now. Proverbial teaching, I'm not sure why I did this. Okay, guys, let's pray. Lord, help us to be wise. Help us to know wisdom. Remind us, Lord, that Jesus and Jesus is all wisdom and knowledge bodily. That all the treasures and wisdom from the Lord are in Jesus. And God, I'll say this for the video, that's in Colossians. Lord, let us know all that and remind us constantly that Jesus is our wisdom. Thank you very much for providing him for us. In the name we pray, amen. See you later, guys.